And there we go, we are live. Good evening, it is 4 minutes past 9 here in the UK on the 29th of August 2020. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and this is our weekly live stream catch up, etc, etc. Hopefully you're all doing well and are currently all completely COVID free, which hopefully you are. There's been a load of demonstrations here in the UK today about COVID and stuff like that, so yeah. It's been a funny old day, and it's actually been a really busy old week. And for those of you who are wondering, why am I wearing a hat? I've just before I started the stream, I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll go and give my head a quick shave with the skull shaver. Unfortunately, I don't think I cleaned it last time, and there's hair and stuff in there, and I've shaved my head, and it's itchy as hell. So I'm just saving you all the anguish of my slightly red bonce. And what can I say? I'm an idiot. It's a good job this isn't live TV and I had to actually be like some character or something on a television show. I'd be like, sorry, can't film for half an hour or so because my head's red raw. Anyway, there you go. So there's the answer. Before you start asking in the comments what's with the hat. I used to wear this thing literally, well, not 24/7, I didn't sleep in it, but I used to wear this thing all the time, and it's a bit beaten up, seen better days, but it feels pretty good. I quite like it. I might have to get some Mike's Unboxing caps for those of you that are that way inclined. Maybe for those that are slightly more follically challenged like myself. Or maybe for the girls who want to have it with a ponytail hanging out the back. That's a pretty cool look, so maybe we might get some of those. Especially winter is coming. It's certainly getting a little bit chilly. I've noticed it today especially. The winds picked up, the temperatures dropped. Definitely a little hint of autumnal weather out there at the moment. I don't know how you guys are feeling. I know there's been some crazy ass weather over in America, and hopefully all of you are in that kind of neck of the woods are safe and secure and have hopefully had the bad weather bypass them, or at least escaped the wrath of it. But anyway, let's move on. So, Dave Burns says, is that a child-sized hat? No, it's just a extra large bonce. Actually, we should do that. We should quickly say hello to those of you that are joining us in the chat on this this Saturday evening. Dave Burns says, I think Mike is wearing a hat because he doesn't want to be called Professor X again. Wow. Ugly Bob says, how many super chat donations for you to take it off? 150 million would be absolutely fine. Even in rupees or anything like that, whatever, I'm not entirely bothered. So, those of you in the chats, we've got Matthew Day, ClickTech Kev. Matthew Day is on the cheap meals again. Nice one. Starting up his new channel, Random Eating in HD. Sky Stalker's in the house. Kev from ClickTech is talking about Flight Sim 2020. We will definitely be addressing that later on in the stream. Flight Sim 2020, what an absolute cracking title that is. I hate flight sims. I'm an arcade person through and through. I don't own a joystick, anything like that. I've got game pads, because game pads are what games are supposed to be played with. Joysticks are for old people and flight sims and things, so I haven't got one. But yeah, totally enjoyed it this week, but we'll go into that a little bit later on. Paul Bakewell's in the house as well, Sky Stalker. Angry Doge is back off his holes. Jax Teller, he says he wants to be in the cool gang. I think that bus has already left. Ugly Bob says, hey, hey, hey. Captain Lisa Venture says, hey, unboxers. Dave Burns is one of the moderators here. His secret identity is Akia Shadow, and after the stream tonight, very likely Dave will be doing his weekly after Mike's Unboxing after party thing.
Jackbox.
I don't think he's doing Jackbox this week.
No.
I've got a feeling he's got a new one called Marbles, which is a thing, I think. I'm not sure. Dave will fill us in on that hopefully later.
I don't like it.
Kath says she doesn't like it already. Ugly Bob said, does anyone else get an error when they try to donate money on Super Chat? Keep on getting told that they can't process my card details. I don't know. Very strange. YouTube has been a bit weird actually. I was going to start the stream a little bit earlier, but for some reason it just said live streaming is not available right now, so I haven't got a clue what went on there. Very strange. Dave Burns says, send me the money and I'll flash. I bet he will. Let's see, no, who else have we got? Aletta's in the house. Says, sorry to spoil the party, but I'm here. The party was spoiled long before you arrived. Nigel Thomas says, evening all. Who else we got? Cud says hello. Paul Bakewell, Paul Burns, yeah, that's right. Blah, blah, blah. Who else we got? And Sky Stalkers come straight in with a $10 yeah, $10. It's dollars, isn't it, in Canada? The Canadian place.
Yeah.
Thank you for the super chat. So that activates the disco ball. For those of you that are new here and don't know what the deal is, I've got it set up with IFTTT so that if there is a super chat donation, it goes into a spreadsheet, and when the spreadsheet gets triggered, it also triggers the bulb for a certain amount of time, then it turns it back off. Simples, but it's a good way of me visually knowing that there's been a super chat if I've missed it in the chat room comments that I haven't been looking at. Although there is a bit of a delay, so it does seem to come up on here quite a long time before it comes up on the disco ball. But thank you very much, much appreciated. James Miscellaneous says, Mike, give Omnishaver a try. I might have to. Because, oh, blimey, my neck and everything is just like, feels like it's on fire. Although I was doing it pretty quickly and I was using quite a lot of pressure, so it hasn't not happened before. Normally that skull shaver is pretty nice and it leaves it feeling nice and silky smooth, but it seems like it's missed quite a lot of hair and has basically destroyed my head and neck. But again, my fault. Didn't follow procedures, didn't clean it up properly after I last used it. I just used it and then chucked it in a drawer. So yeah, it's probably not the best of things I could do.
User error.
Yeah, definitely user error confirmed. What else we got? So Zalan says, I've learned a lot from you. Well, thank you.
If you go up a bit, somebody else asked a question.
Somebody else. Sky Stalker says gamepads suck. Sky Stalker, how dare you? Gamepads are the link between PC and console. It's like, I don't know. If you've played on a console or you started off on PC and then maybe you got maybe like FIFA or something like that, or a driving game, generally you've had a gamepad. And then if someone had a console and you went round to their house and they're like, oh, do you want to play? Even though it's a different system, because the joypad is that kind of universal language, the language of gaming love. So you can just pick up a controller and generally, even you've got to ask, say, oh, what button does what? You can pick it up and you can play it. It's that cross-platform thing. You can't use a joystick on a console. Very difficult to do. Anyway, I might have to get one. AKA Liam says, hey. Scud Bucket. Nice name, Scud Bucket. Like that one. Says, hello everyone. Dave Burns says, we will squeeze in some Jackbox for Calf. God bless you, Dave Burns. Dave Burns is a lovely man. A Kia Shadow over on the Twitch. Feel free to go over there and yeah, go over, follow him. If you've got a Prime sub account, you get a free Twitch thing, Prime, whatever, subscription. So if you're not using it, or maybe you don't use your Prime, or you don't go on Twitch, just go over there now, click on, or search for a Kia Shadow, and yeah, chuck a sub on. He will appreciate it. He probably won't show you his appreciation because he is a git, but he will appreciate it really. Ninja47 says hello, and he's in the house, and he says something to Sky Stalker. You can feel FPS with the M&K. Mouse and keyboard. Got it. That does work. Sky Stalker with his super chat says, I am testing. Does this work? Certainly seems to. Tandaman says, hi all. Who else? Sky Stalker. Just need to check. Okay. Sky Stalker. Okay, I need to get Mike a joystick. Actually, going off subject a little bit. Oh, and Tove Jack Tack TiVo. I'm going to call you from now on. TiVo will do. TiVo says hello. And David Thompson says using PlayStation 1 controller gave me arthritis. Shit. My hands are fixed in the holding the controller position. Can't hold one at all now. Oh man, that sucks. Sorry to hear that. Maybe you should have had a joystick. Maybe Sky Stalker was right all along. Dave Byrne says, lol, I am a git. He is. Glenn says, good evening. And who else? We've got Ugly Bob. Ugly Bob says Dave tried to get the name GitHub for his channel, but apparently it's already taken. Yeah. Joe Friedman, public urination, pro or con? Oh, definitely. I'm all pro for public urination, as long as it's discreet public urination.
And it keeps foxes away.
And it does keep foxes away. So if you get foxes in your garden, do make sure you take a pee in your garden.
Apparently.
And if you're feeling friendly, do it in your neighbour's garden. I'm sure they'll appreciate it.
They don't want foxes.
They don't want foxes. No way. Ricardo says, I'm waiting for Tuesday and Nvidia's big announcement. The 12-pin, 700 watt, brand new RTX 3090 32 gig DDR7 video card. You never know. That could be what we end up with. I don't think it will be, but I don't think you're that far off the mark. Dave Thompson says, can't use a joystick either. Over the years, I've trained my hands, mouse and keyboard. Still a struggle. Aww. Ah, dear, Dave.
Hugh Wong did a sticker.
Hugh Wong did a sticker?
Yeah.
Oh, what? We can't see it?
It is on there.
All right, I haven't gone that far yet. My chat thing seems to be going a bit bizarre. I don't know what is going on tonight. This YouTube studio is really, yeah, doing my brains in tonight. Russell Wolfson says, what CPU cooler have you got in the PC behind you, Mike? That is... I've got to try and see what it is. Oh, I can see it on that screen. That is the Thermaltake Contact 12. It's actually a really cool little cooler, pun intended. It does work really well. And that is pretty much the same performance as the Arctic Freezer 33 and 34, the Evo 212, even the black editions and all that kind of stuff. Essentially, most 120mm tower coolers perform pretty much exactly the same. There's very, very little between them. Obviously, if you change the fans out, that is what makes more of a difference. But thermally, as long as they've got either 4 or 3 or 4 heat pipes and are that same sort of design, generally they all tend to perform very, very similarly. Sky Stalker says, PSA for Mike's unboxing, how to get rid of foxes. Glad to help. James Miscellaneous says, oh wow, yeah, the back of your neck looks charred up. It's bad. It's really, really itching. I think actually I might need some Carlsberg to dampen the flames a little bit. What do you reckon, Kath? I think that's a good idea.
I think that's mine.
Steve Darby says, I use a gamepad only with driving games. Is that weird? No, that's absolutely what I would do. I can't play driving games or anything like that on a joypad, on a joystick. Got to use a controller. It seems just much more natural. And in fact, I'd probably prefer using it on a digital pad rather than an analog. I don't know why. Maybe I just prefer that kind of arcade type steering. Ugly Bob says, I'm not seeing any pens on the desk tonight. Just saying. No, there's no pens actually. Kath is going to get the sack. Evening Williams says, evening, Kath. Ricardo says, it's Carlsberg time. Yeah. Ugly Bob needs his pen fix. Russell Walton says, how much are Mike's pens? Well, they're free. Well, kind of free. They are a gratitude gift. I think that's what I'm looking for. Basically, if you're a Patreon, so if you go to www.patreon.com/Mike's Unboxing, you can sign up to be a patron, help support the channel, and as a goodwill gesture for a minimum of a $5 pledge, then we will send you a Mike's Unboxing pen. And let's see if... Oh, that's cold.
Make the most
but nice.
Because I've only just put the next lot in.
Oh, that is definitely putting the flames out right there. Oh, very good. There you go. There's some Mike's Unboxing pens for you all to salivate over. There we go. Mike's Unboxing pens. Totally out of focus. Thank you, Logitech. You useless sack of crap. I'm a bit disappointed actually that the Mike's Unboxing pens don't naturally stay in that position.
Did it rained?
There we go. Mike's Unboxing pens. which handily takes me on to the items behind, which is the creative, this is a weird one, Urbana. And I think it does smell like Teen Spirit right now. And also, we've been sent by our friends at, well, actually, we've got a few bits and pieces here. Actually, a few gifts which have come through the postal service this week. So we've got the Creative Labs Urbana headset, which actually I did test out last night, and spoiler alert, it is very, very good. Some of you may not appreciate the kind of the neckband setup. Where is it? Oh, there it is. The neckband setup. But for me, actually, it is really, really comfortable. I spent about 2 hours last night, I think, answering YouTube questions, as I generally tend to on an evening, answering YouTube questions, going through and basically listening to some music, testing out those, oh, lovely, testing out the Urbana Trio Wireless, and they do work very well. They support aptX, AAC, Bluetooth 5.0, 20-hour battery life, and they also support aptX. And also they support all of the features in Super SX-Fi. So if you like that super rich, super deep, super bassy, super realistic sound, then they are definitely worth a look. And also they've sent us through the Bluetooth adapter. So this is their new Bluetooth adapter, the BTW3. This works with PS4, PC, Mac, all sorts of USB devices. It's basically an audio transmitter. So plug it into your PC if you haven't got Bluetooth on it already, and then you'll get full SX-Fi, aptX, and all of those cool features. So basically lag-free Bluetooth connectivity. So if you're gaming and you're using Bluetooth headsets, then absolutely fine. Now I'm gonna take a swig of my alcohol. Sponsorship. Oh, that is actually very, very nice. Sky Stalker says I need to buy some more stuff.
You haven't thanks for that. You haven't thanks Hugh Wong for that sticker.
Hugh Wong, thank you very much for the sticker. For some reason, the stickers don't trigger the bulb, so let's rectify that. What am I doing? Completely lost my train of thought. There we go. Right, Hugh Wong, thank you very much for sending your sticker.
Yes, have you got an address?
I can't see it on the screen. I honestly can't, so I do apologise. Kath says it's right at the top, but maybe, oh, I know what it is. I need to do my pop-out chat thing, don't I? I didn't do that. That's on me. That is me being stupid. It happens. Kath will agree to that. Although saying that, where are we? Top chat? No, I don't want top chat. I want live chat. All messages are visible. And hopefully I should be able to see it. No. No, it seems to go back to a certain place, so unfortunately I cannot see it. But being as you've sent us a sticker, let's stick on the old RGB. There we go. Turn the lights off, Kath.
Hugh Wong, do you have an address your viewers can send it for you to review?
Kind of.
Badminton Road?
Yeah. Yeah. Right, that'll do. I've got to turn it off manually, haven't I? Bloody technology. Nice one, you. I do appreciate it. Oh, Dave Byrne says, yeah, rip Chadwick Boseman. That is so sad, isn't it? That is really, really upsetting. I don't want to put a downer on things because it's Saturday night and we want a bit of cheering up and a bit of fun and games. But it is a really sad thing. Chadwick, I've got to be honest with you, Chadwick I've only ever seen in Avengers movies and obviously his own dedicated movie as well. But yeah, there was something about him, he had a real presence, and it's so sad to think that he was battling that illness pretty much all throughout the films that we'd seen him in and all the kind of times he's been on the red carpet events and all that. To know that he's got all that stuff going on just shows an immense strength of character. So yeah, Chadwick, cheers to you, my friend. Yeah, that is really sad. I woke up this morning and actually seen that. That was the first thing I saw on my phone. It was like, I woke up and I was, oh man, no. Tell me it ain't true. That's got to be a wind up or something. poor guy, so young, such a waste. Really is a waste. But he did achieve a massive amount in his lifetime, and obviously he has done so much good work, portraying really strong, powerful characters, even superheroes. So yeah, God bless you, my friend. Yeah, Ugly Bob says, yeah, sad when I heard the news this morning. It was so sad. It almost makes me not want to watch his other films now, because it's one of those really hard things to like see someone with a lot of talent like that just extinguished. And yeah, sad times indeed. OA says, hi, is it possible for me to sell you a case? It's Cooler Master Master Case Pro 3. I don't know. Join us on the Discord and we'll chat about it.
Yeah, me and Big Brains put a link in.
Ghost Adder says, yeah, first thing I saw this morning. Yeah, it is. Damn. That is a real bummer, isn't it? It really is. Really is sad. Anyway, let's move on. Cheer things up a little bit. Yeah, this week, what have I been doing this week? Well, this week, been, like I said, Flight Sim 2020. How many of you out there have downloaded the Hop? Man, that is just a ridiculous download. That has got to be the shittest ever user experience in the user interface that I've experienced in a long time. I do not recall a more painful experience. I genuinely don't. It was an absolute shitfest, is the only way I can describe it. It was horrendous. So first of all, you buy the game. Well, I didn't buy the game because I'm a tight skinflint and I'm not paying £60 for a damn game where I can fly a plane. Never gonna happen. Anyway, so I signed up for the £1 trial on the Xbox gaming thing, whatever it is, which I'm gonna definitely cancel before the end of the month because I don't want to pay that £3.99 a month. Although that might change because I am getting quite addicted to the old Flight Sim 2020. But anyway, so you pay your £1. You get the downloader, you get this horrible Xbox app thing on your PC, which is in beta, so okay, fine, whatever. Then you click on the game, it downloads like a gig, which is the main installer, which is basically nothing. And then you're stuck with, you click on it and it says, right, now downloading the game. It's like, well, I've already downloaded the game. You're on my screen, you've just said click on play. I'm clicking play. Play the damn game. Stream it if you have to. No, sir. You cannot do that. You have got the best part of 100 gigs to download yet. And you get this horrible screen, which is basically the full size of your screen, unless you minimize it or whatever, with a static picture of a bloody plane, with good choice, because obviously it is a flight sim. But you get this picture of a plane, and then you get this stupid ass scrolling bar along the bottom, which I never even saw to begin with. It's like, is this frozen? Is it crashed? I don't even know what's going on. So first time round I closed it and didn't realise it was actually downloading. So did that again, it popped up and then it's, oh yeah, blue bar at the bottom. A blue bar which is moving at the pace of a very slow snail. Which, more on that later because I found out why my internet at home has been a little bit on the crap side. But yeah, we've resolved that, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. So anyway, downloading this game, and I think I started downloading it about maybe 2 o'clock, 2:30. It finishes maybe about 9, 10 o'clock in the evening. So we actually get around to finally playing it. And actually, I would say hats off, but I'm not taking it off. Hats off to Microsoft and the game studio that created it. They've done a bloody good job. It is hyper realistic. It is essentially like flying around in Bing Maps. And by that I mean basically most of the features are missing, but you kind of get where you are roughly. It is a very difficult game to pick up, but it's one of those games where if you start to master the controls and get good at it, it is extremely rewarding. The first time I played it, it's like, whoa, this is super complicated. There's like, I've got a gamepad, I've got buttons I've got to press, I've got a mouse. Where the hell are my flaps? They've disappeared altogether. I just want to extend my flaps. I am unable to do it. Sorry, family viewing, I do apologise. So basically I'm flying around aimlessly, flapless. It's a nightmare. I don't know what is going on. But eventually, as I go through it a little bit more, it's like, all right, working out where things go now, working out what button does what, realised that I can't have my landing gear lowered when I'm doing 120 knots because it's just not a thing apparently. You learn all these things. Now, we are really, really lucky as a community, both from Mike's Unboxing and our Discord chat server, which obviously you're more than welcome to join. We have got a bona fide, qualified person that does the flight stuff. And, well, I don't think he'll mind me saying his name, Sky Stalker, in our chat room, one of our moderators, both here and also on the Discord. And basically, what he doesn't know about aviation, you don't really need to know. It's just irrelevant. So, kindly, I did a little bit of a mini stream on our Discord of me in flight sim, and I had my instructor or co-pilot or whatever you want to call it, my safety brakes, my safety wheels, stabilizers even, in the form of Sky Stalker. So basically telling me what I needed to know. Yeah, we went for a little flight, and from what I could tell, I don't know whether he was being truthful, but I seem to be doing it not too bad. So considering I know absolutely jack about flying, and in fact I've only been on a plane once, so I don't really understand the whole thing.
And she did keep saying about stalling after Sky Stalker went.
Yeah, after Sky Stalker left, I did sort of go out on my own a little bit more, and all I got was stall, 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 stall. Like, yeah, okay, whatever. But anyway, it was super, super enjoyable, and yeah, I've been doing some local flights from our Bristol Filton Airport down to the main Bristol International. Also had a few flights around in Canada, in Sky's neck of the woods as well, which was really awesome, looking around where he lives and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, totally enjoyable experience. Now I don't have... Yeah, we did fly over Linus's house, so dropped out a few sandbags and stink bombs over the side for Linus. Some new rubber for his sandals. But it was really good fun, very enjoyable, again, hyper realistic. I don't have a particularly kind of ninja god level PC, just running a Ryzen 5 3600, a RTX 2060, 32 gigs of RAM, which I think does actually help. And it's all running off SSD, so the loading times aren't that bad, but they are not as zippy as you'd expect. So we'll have to make some adjustments there, or hopefully as the game matures, it will get much better and much quicker. But overall, really good. I've actually done some of the daily challenges. Really enjoyed doing that, trying to get a decent landing. Very, very entertaining. I did find nighttime flying is, for basically masochists, it's impossible. And actually flying in cockpit view, like a normal pilot would do, for me is a very, very difficult thing to do. I can't quite work out my bearings, and I think it's because you're not physically sat in the plane, you don't get that whole kind of human gyroscope. Because you know when you're sat in a plane, if you're flying somewhere, if you're diving, you feel it. If you're climbing, you feel it. Banking left to right, turbulence, all that kind of stuff, you feel it. But when you're doing it as a simulator or a game, you just don't feel that same sort of thing. So for me, I prefer to fly it with the instrumentation panel on the left and right hand side, and then the plane external view. So I can see the horizon, I can see the pitch, the plane, see what's going on, see if my landing gear is up or down. Now I can fully extend my flaps, so really pleased with that, and I've worked out which key that is. For those of you that don't know, and you're playing it on a gamepad and you want to be able to control your flaps, F5 and F8 are for adjusting the flaps. So there you go, another public service announcement. So yes, it's very, very enjoyable. And actually, one thing we did mention earlier, both Sky and myself, and also Kev mentioned it at the top of the hour, that he's downloading it as well. And we seriously need to get together and have like a some form of synchronized flying. Which, considering that I'm rubbish, Sky Stalker is probably going to be awesome. Kev, I'm not too sure, and some of the others, yeah, it could be. It's not going to be like the red arrows. More like the brown darts or something. It's it's not going to be brilliant, but we'll certainly give it a go. Anything for a laugh, and I think that'd be quite enjoyable. And I think that's one of the one of those kind of cool things about it. It's one of those, you can pick it up, you can fly relatively if you've never used it before, because it kind of guides you through, and there's so much autopilot stuff going on. And in one point, I was trying to do like an emergency landing on a weird angle, And Sky was like, well, you're going too fast, or you need to do this or do that. And it's like, I'm trying, I can. It's overriding everything I'm doing. I haven't got the joypad in my hand, and it's basically gone along and tried to take off again, which I didn't want to do. So you do have to kind of dial out some of the AI settings, I think, to get the best experience, and also to be able to kind of do things that you wouldn't normally be able to do. So if you've come into a runway and you're on a really, really steep approach and you're going way too fast, potentially you could actually land it. You may not do it perfectly, but you may actually be able to do it. But the AI will take over and basically try and make you take off again, so you can loop around and do it again. So yeah, definitely turn off some of those AI settings, I think, personally.
I think you need to go quite far back up.
Yeah, there we go. We've probably got loads of questions which I've missed out now, so...
Glenn says you should be more like dead sparrows.
The Dead Sparrows flying formation team. That sounds about right. Ah, dear.
We did that in sync.
So, Flight Sim 2020, for me at the moment, I would say if I was to give it a star rating, for enjoyment factor, I would say 4 out of 5, because it's up there. It's definitely up there with some of the best games that I've played. Value for money, for £1 for the Xbox trial, can't go wrong. £3 a month, depending on how many months you play it for, again, potentially a little bit expensive. I think it's going to be one of those simulations or games that is going to be, you wait for a Steam sale, get it in the Steam sale, pay maybe £25, £30, I think would be a fair price for it. Again, depends on how much you're into flying and that kind of thing. I know like Train Simulator, was it Train Simulator 2018 or 2017 or something crazy like that? That was like super popular. And basically you're just driving a train. It's on rails. There's not a great deal that can go wrong. Whereas with a flight sim, it's a whole different matter. You're basically a big chunk of metal in the air. Lots of things can go wrong. So yeah, for me, I think value for money, depending on how much you pay for it, at the moment it's definitely debatable. And I think £60 is kind of like the entry price for the kind of the peasant spec version. There is like a god tier version, which is way, way, way more expensive. Loads of add-on packs, etc., etc. So yeah, not too sure about that. But definitely worth having a look at. Dave Byrne says, tell that to Network Rail, Mike. Yeah, I know what you mean. But you see what I'm saying? It is one of those things where Train Simulator is like, yeah, I've gone 5 kilometers an hour too fast through a station. Wow. Whereas with an airplane, it's like, okay, I've just flown across Templemead Station in Bristol at 150 knots and I've got my landing gear down. Yeah, boy. What's that?
Ugly Bob went over.
Did he?
Temple Meads.
Nicely done. So anyway, yeah, Flight Sim 2020, worth taking a look at. And if you want to have a flight with us, join us on the Discord and we'll work something out where we can get a group of us together and do some synchronized flying. Not any long distance stuff, because no one got time for that. There are some crazy people who literally will do a continental flight from, I don't know, UK to America and literally sit there for 8-9 hours, literally piloting that plane in real time. That blows my mind. What do they do when they need to piss? Do they put it on autopilot and just walk off? I think I'd be tempted to start the journey, take off, wait till you get to the right altitude, hit autopilot, go to bed, leave the computer when you get up in the morning. Ugh. Oh, landing time. Thank you very much.
Potty, of course.
Hmm?
You have a gaming potty.
Oh yeah, gaming potty. Good idea. Have a gaming potty. Get one of the GT racing chairs available from the Mike's Unboxing store with the special cutout and the gaming potty installed. Also available with a maxerator.
And they go and piss in the garden with boxes.
Oh dear. Yeah. Yeah, then empty out the potty in the GT racing chair into the garden to get rid of foxes and other wildlife, and probably your friends. Oh dear. Okay. So, Flight Sim 2020, yeah, let's get over that. What else has gone on this week, games-wise? Oh, of course, we've had the Fall Guys, started playing a little bit of that. This is going to get me probably a lot of hate, but I don't think Fall Guys is actually any good. I don't think it is. It's a fun thing. It's almost fun to watch. Almost. It's one of those things that, I don't know. I don't know how to explain my feeling of disappointment in that game. There is essentially no real skill involved. A lot of it is luck. You get bounced and pushed around a lot, so you might get lucky. It is, I don't know, I just don't get it. I think it's the same with Fortnite. I never really understood Fortnite, and I still don't. I don't really see the appeal of it. Yeah, it's good fun, but all that building stuff, it's like, oh, just give me CSGO. Much better. Get hate for that now. But yeah, Fall Guys, I don't know. I bought it. Kath's bought it as well. We've played it a little bit. And I think if there's a group of you, like maybe 10 of you, and you're all friends playing together, yes, that would be definitely hilarious. But when there's 50 of you, or 30 of you, all trying to do basically different things, it's impossible. It's not enjoyable. It's just frustrating as hell. And the only reason you want to play another game is because you're so frustrated that you're not actually being able to do anything at all. And there's dickwads pushing you around everywhere. Loading times are horrendous. Waiting for a game for like 50 players. It's like, oh, shoot me now.
Yes, Kev, we are crap at it.
And we are crap at it. We are definitely crap at it.
Katamari now, that's a different story.
Yeah, beautiful Katamari. That is something else altogether. Kath's been playing that again this week. There's Katamari Remastered, I think it was, which again came from our good friend Akiya Shadow, mentioned it, and he's done a couple of streams on it, so that's worth looking out for. I think Ghost Adder as well actually did a stream on that today, very briefly, on the Discord as well. Katamari, if you've not played beautiful Katamari before, it's an insane kind of vision. Basically, you're like a sticky ball and you roll around cities and locations, picking up everything that's in your way to make yourself bigger and bigger until you become kind of world-sized, and then your world expands and you expand. And it's just a crazy, I think, is it Japanese or Chinese or something? I'm not too sure. It's a freaky game, but it's very, very enjoyable, and there is a big amount of skill involved because you use a joypad, both thumbsticks, and you're kind of moving around in, it's almost like the kind of Marble games, Marble Madness, that kind of thing. So there's physics involved. It's, very enjoyable.
Crazy music.
Extremely enjoyable. Crazy music. If you're into kind of Japanesey, Chinesey stuff.
Akiya did actually sing along to it for me.
Oh, did he? God, that's scary. So yeah, that is very good. What else have we played this week? Flight Sim 2020.
Avengers.
Oh, the Avengers game. Not tried that yet. Still not tried that.
When is it coming out?
It should be out very, very soon, I think. So looking forward to that. O'Reilly says, Mike, how often do you play platform games? I think this is the skill you're lacking for Fall Guys. I have played a lot of platform games and like a lot of things like that. Well, Sonic, yeah, I used to be able to do Sonic with my eyes closed. But the Fall Guys thing is just a completely, it's a very alien concept of basically having too many other people that are just in the way, making life difficult, and any skill you have is completely overridden by the amount of twats that are with you. It's just, I hate it. I generally do. I wish I never bought it. Massive waste of money. Far Cry New Dawn, definitely we've been playing a little bit of that. I do like that. ClickTech says, didn't rate the Avengers beta. Okay. Marble Madness, everyone's like, yay! I always wanted the Marble Madness, but whenever I played it on a PC or anything, on a joystick, it just wasn't the same. You really needed that trackball to be able to get the right momentum going. It was brilliant in the arcade. Hugh Wong says, who's the helpful person in the background? That's Kath. She's over there. You can't see her, but I might turn the camera around so you can see her.
No.
Oh, I'm not allowed to do that. Sorry. Okay, so let's get off the topic of games because we've been there. We could talk about the Epic game thing with Apple. Where do you start? Who's right? Who's wrong? I don't think anybody's particularly wrong. I don't think anyone's actually right. I think it's just an absolute mess where ultimately Epic don't give a rat's ass about gamers. They generally don't. And Apple generally don't give a rat's ass about customers. So if any of you are kind of blindly following either Apple or Epic, and oh yeah, they can't do wrong, they're fantastic, they're looking after us. No. Wipe that mind altogether. They are seriously all about the money. That's all that anyone cares about. They don't care. They generally don't. The only reason this has come about is because the 30% payment fee that Apple are taking from Epic, which is their entitlement. And quite frankly, Epic knew this before they released the game onto the iOS ecosystem. They've always known this. It's not like, oh, wow, where did this 30% fee come from? It's always been a thing for everybody. But now Epic, because they want some of their V-Bucks back in their own pocket, they're getting pissed about it. So yeah, it's all about greed at the end of the day. If Apple and Epic turn around and said, all right, we'll give the 30% back to the customer, yeah, I don't think anyone would back down then. They'd be like, oh, okay, don't worry. Kath's got her hand up, so that means there's a question imminent.
Russell Walton.
Russell Walton.
Recommend me a good ARGB software.
Not really. Russell Walton, can anyone recommend me a good ARGB software? I hate Polychrome Sync. No. Is the ultimate answer. There are other kind of third-party programs you can get. There was one recommended to me ages ago, but generally they all suck. And really, the only ones you're meant to use is the ones that your motherboard actually supports and comes with. So, yeah, you can. That is basically it. So depending on your motherboard, you're stuck in that ecosystem. If you're with Gigabyte, you have to use Gigabyte software. If you're MSI software. Potentially, if you've got an Asus board, you could get the Corsair setup and do that way. iQ does work with some of the new Asus boards, so potentially you could do that, but then the Corsair iQ software stroke malware is, yeah, not everyone's cup of tea, but there you go. Hugh Wong says, YouTube takes 30% from Super Chat. Yes, they do. That is exactly right. It's a common thing across the board for pretty much everybody. Google do it, Apple do it, Patreon to some extent do less, but they get other bits elsewhere. PayPal, they take a fee. Everybody has a processing fee. Yes, the 30% fee for Google, YouTube, etc., iOS, Apple rather, all that kind of stuff. Yes, it is a large amount. It doesn't need to be that much. Let's be completely honest, they're literally a payment processing thing. If they did maybe 10%, they would still be making tons more than people like PayPal. So, yeah, there you go.
I'm too early.
Dave Burns has done a super chat. That's why Kath's early, she's on the ball. And he says, 2 of your English UK pounds, and says, insert Burger King advert here. Do you know what? I was just saying to somebody I work with, I have not had a Burger King burger. I actually don't remember when. I think the last time I had a Burger King was probably
2003.
No, I think it's probably in Spain when we went on holiday.
Since kids were little.
Have we?
Because they wanted to go on the toys outside.
Oh yeah, that's right. I do recall that now. Yeah, so maybe about 2003, 2004 was about the last time I had a Burger King. We need to readdress that. Dave Burns says, did you know about the BK thing, Mike? Oh, no, I don't. Oh, what is going on? You're going to have to message Kath, she'll have to tell me.
What's that?
The Burger King thing. I have no ideas. Filet-O-Fish for the win. That's Kath's favourite, she loves a Filet-O-Fish.
It's only because I don't like gristle in my burgers.
Ghost Seller says, last time I had Burger King was in 2015. O'Reilly says, it's about 5 years since I had a Burger King burger. Ghost Seller says, McDonald's is just better quality. Are you No. Burger King burgers are, well,
No, I prefer.
actually I haven't had one for 15 years, so I don't know for sure. Maybe 2003?
Yeah, you're right.
Maybe more. It's a long time. Right, that's it, Kath. Get in the car, go to Burger King, get us a burger so we can unbox it live on the stream.
Oh, chicken leg end.
That would be amazing. We should definitely do that, unboxing burgers. That's not good for my cholesterol levels, etc., but it'll be very good for me.
Danielle Emberley, up a bit.
Ghost says, no Mackies is better, mate. Sorry, Kath, what was that? Danielle.
Just below the super chat.
Danielle Emberley says, I have two 4TB, 3.5-inch blue drives in my PC. I suspect the IntelliPart feature is the source of cricket chirps. Find any quiet drives without crickets you like? Actually, Danielle, that brings me onto a fantastic subject, which is actually a video which is not going to be released until Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. We found a really, really cool way of getting NAS quality drives for basically half price. And I did post it in our Discord, and a couple of the other members actually managed to pick up drives as well. So if you are considering storage, or you need just a big drive for your PC, but you don't want to pay, well, I think we worked out that a 4TB drive in the UK here is in the region of about 80 to 90, maybe slightly more pounds. So if you say £100 for argument's sake, we managed to pick up a 4TB Western Digital drive, not one of the SMR drives, no shingled resistance stuff here. Actual proper, essentially a red drive, but a good one, for 40, was it £48, 57 or something ridiculous after a little bit of promotional discount. So if you are looking out for some seriously cheap drives, do check out the channel on, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday when the video will be dropping. It was brilliant, and it's something that I've wanted to do for a long time, and it's always made complete sense to me, but it's one of those weird things in the PC industry which you can do, and you can save yourself a ton of money. Like literally, I've got my NAS, which hopefully some of you have seen that video this week, which was on, I think it was on Tuesday. So we did the NAS video on Tuesday, the Synology NAS, which I've now got set up and is now running absolutely perfectly. There was an issue where my network, my transfer speeds were like 11 to 12 megabytes per second, which for a gigabit network is very, very poor. Now, I did find some of it was down to my mesh system. So the Tenda MW3 mesh system, which I did a video on ages and ages ago, which has been the best thing that we bought for ages and ages. It was a really, really good mesh system. But the thing that let it down was it only had 10100 or fast Ethernet ports actually on the mesh. Didn't have gigabit ports or pass-through. And because my wired network in the house is kind of into little subsections with cabling running through the house, it just made it so that the NAS didn't work properly. And unfortunately, it wasn't until last night that I actually went into the other room with my laptop on the Wi-Fi, basically next to it. It's like, well, hang on, I'm getting 45 megabits per second here. That's much faster than my wired network. Something is definitely wrong. So I went around doing some fault finding, and it was two things. First of all is the Tenda Novas, which were basically throttling the system because they were 10100. But also I found that one of my network sockets in the Mike's Unboxing Studio, of all places, was a little bit knackered. And it seems that the connectivity on some of the pins weren't either pushed in far enough, or there was some kind of oxidization in the brass pins inside, or whatever the case was. Basically, I put in a new N piece, plugged it into my gigabit switch, and it's absolutely perfect. Perfect.
Okay. I found this on the web for Hey Siri Switch. Check it out.
There is Maisie. And there goes the autofocus.
Sorry.
Let's see if I can get it back. Yeah. There we go. Is it going to focus? No. Kath, you've ruined it.
Sorry.
Dipshit.
Sorry.
No, because that's focused on your hand, you wally. You have to press it on the screen. There we go. Back in focus. That woman should be the death of me. Right, where are we? Yeah, everyone loves the kitty. Ugly Bob says, I want some for the NAS I ordered. Happy days, yeah. So that video will be, well, if you want a sneak peek of it, if you're a Patreon member, you can go over to the Patreon site. You can see the video is already uploaded and ready, so you can watch it there if you want to. Alternatively, if you desperately want to get hold of those drives, just PM me or get on the Discord, and I'll send you over a link for the video so you can get your cheap NAS drives. And literally half price NAS drives, you can't go wrong. It's brilliant. You know me, I'm a cheapskate at the end of the day, and I didn't want to pay out loads of money. So now I've got my half price NAS drives. I've also got my internet working as it should be. Also, by a complete twist of fate, Tautronics reached out to us and said, Mike, we've seen your reviews. So they say, I don't know this for sure. Quite often you get emails like that. But they said, would you like to check out our latest mesh system? It's like, hallelujah. What great timing. So as you can see from, well, this big box here, whole home mesh Wi-Fi system. And actually, I'll switch cameras so you can see it a bit better. Maybe. So this is a 3-in-1 pack. Oh, come on. No, wrong way. There we go. So it's a whole home mesh Wi-Fi system. So you get 3 individual boxes. So one of them acts as a master. The others act as kind of slaves off of that. So one of them you connect to your internet, and the others are connected either by Wi-Fi. So it works on the 5 GHz system and also 2.4 GHz. It's also got its own dedicated backhaul. So if you're not sure what that means, basically backhaul means...
This is getting dirty.
Yeah, it is. Thanks for that. So the backhaul basically means that there's a separate subchannel which doesn't contain your internet traffic, but actually communicates between the devices. So it's basically multi-in, multi-out. There's lots and lots of traffic going all the way. It's basically a 4x4 wave system. Essentially what it means is there's about 5 or 6 different types of internet communication protocols running at the same time. So you've got the 5 GHz band, you've got a 5.8 GHz band for the backhaul, you've also got 2.4 GHz, and also there is an additional 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi built in for smart devices. So you can have all your smart devices on the slower 2.4 GHz, and you can have all your fast devices on the 5 GHz. If I spin that around, there you go. So we'll be doing a complete review on that in the upcoming days or weeks. I've got it actually running at the moment, running throughout the house. So I've swapped over all the tender mesh units for these ones. One of the real cool features about it is each one of these mesh units has actually got a 4-port gigabit switch on it. So if you've got it maybe in your front room with your TV, Xbox, PlayStation, etc., you can plug all of them in on those really fast connection options, and yeah, basically just improves your network no end. Already with the NAS connected, I've got the NAS connected in 2 ports because our NAS supports link aggregation, so you can link 2 ports together. So at the moment our NAS has got 2 gigabit Ethernet, which is absolutely brilliant. So loads and loads of bandwidth, and this supports wireless up to 400 megabits. So if you've got a system which is like 500 or above, then this might be a little bit too slow for you, but there is other models as well. But essentially you can plug in any internet connection you want with your modem, just plug it in modem mode, and yeah, it works really great. Got all the usual stuff: parental control, beamforming, multi-hop, smart roaming. There's also USB 3 ports on there, so you can actually make this into your own NAS. You don't have data redundancy, but each one of these you can plug in a USB device of up to, I think it's about 16 terabytes. So if you've got a USB caddy, maybe something like, where are we? Yes, something like that. So the Silicon Power portable SSD on a USB, just plug that into the back, and then this will be available on the network as a share using SMB, Samba shares. And yeah, nice, simple, straightforward, happy days, really, really nice to use. But anyway, yeah, that's seems to be, touch wood, working exceptionally well at the moment. There's a freaking cool app. I nearly said the F word then. There's a really cool app that runs on the phone, so you don't have to go onto your computer and work out kind of rocket science, how to get the IP addresses and all that kind of stuff. Just download the app, install it, put in a username and password, connect to the devices. Really, really super simple. And actually, I think I said to Kath at the time, like, oh, it's done. And she's like, well, you done already? It's like, yeah, that was quite painless. And literally, it took us about 5 minutes to get it from plugging it in. The longest time actually was spent waiting for it actually to boot up, because it's got its own, I think it's got a quad-core processor in each one of these. So it is basically a small computer running a operating system and controlling all your internet. It's yeah, it's really cool. I've not seen them on the market before. It's a really new one on me. I was always of the opinion that, I think it is Tautronics, isn't it? Yeah, Tautronics. I always thought they just did things like home appliances and Bluetooth speakers, all that kind of stuff. But no, they do actually really bloody good routers. So if you're on the lookout for one, the review, hopefully I'll try and get out this week if I can. But I do want to let it have some time to sort of settle in, bed in, get some readings of the Wi-Fi around the house and see how well the mesh works. The handover seems very good. iPhones are notoriously bad for doing Wi-Fi handover. They hang on to the signal way too long and just walk in from like out in the back garden, through the house, out to the front garden. You can basically watch it and it just transfers over as you go from room to room, which is absolutely excellent.
Or they just pick the worst one.
Yeah, picking the worst signal is an iPhone trait. But anyway, so if you're looking for a mesh system and you're on the fence at the moment, maybe wait till this video comes out in hopefully this week, and it might help make your mind up. And also it might help make my mind up, because people always ask me what's the best mesh system to get, and I've always been with the Tenders, but now that I've found the kind of the weakness in the armor, the MW6 version, or MW5 I think it is, of the Tender actually has gigabit ports built in, so that is an option, but it is quite expensive. This at the moment doesn't seem overly expensive. I'm still waiting them to give me the official UK pricing, but it doesn't look to be very expensive, certainly within the same sort of threshold as the Tender system. So yeah, keep an eye out for that one. It's going to be a good one. So let's go back to the questions and see what you chaps and chapesses have been asking. Aletta says, the only thing that would make my Wi-Fi better is different internet service provider. O'Reilly says AC3000 is really good. Yeah, I think it supports AC3000. I'm sure I read that somewhere.
That is what it is.
Oh yeah, AC3000 Tri-band mesh router. Yeah.
A model number.
Yeah, because I think the last one is I think our previous one was AC 1200 or maybe 18. So anyway, at the moment it seems much better, and the transfer speeds are absolutely fantastic. There goes the fans.
You said it had stopped doing that.
I hate that GPU. I really do hate that GPU. So what else have we done this week? Oh, of course, we did the Codelink Stronghold Overseer case, which, yeah, actually, some of you really did like that one. Again, everyone at the moment wants either mesh or airflow, so having a case with a solid front with a bit of side ventilation, not everyone's cup of tea, but actually, most of you seem to appreciate it. So, yeah, happy days. And a good cheap case, can't go wrong. I have actually done the review also of the Codelink Citadel, which is the kind of small micro ATX version with all RGB. Yes, that is the one. That is a great little case, and hopefully that'll be released Monday. I think Monday. Yeah, Monday. I think it is. It's already released on Patreon, so if you want to check it out there, you can do. But yeah, the Codelink Citadel, loads of options as well. You can get the Citadel Standard, which has got basically a solid front on it with a little bit of mesh on the side. You get the Citadel Mesh, which is basically the same chassis but with a completely mesh front. Or you can get the Citadel Mesh RGB, which has got a mesh front and a load of RGB lights in there, and also a pretty decent RGB controller. So definitely keep an eye out for that one. That will be absolutely brilliant. Oh, there goes the GPU again. I've got it set to 0 fan, and for some reason it waits till it gets, rather than to 40 degrees, it gets to like 50 or 60, so it ramps up the fan to some ridiculous speed, and then cuts out again. Oh, anyway, okay. Ugly Bob says, yeah, decent case and a good video. Thanks, Ugly Bob. F7 Jesus says, aye, Mike and co, how's it going? We are very well, mate. Hopefully you are too as well. Matt Wee says, hello Mike, first stream but love your vids. Thanks mate, that's appreciate that. Ivory Wolfman says, I use router by IP and power lines, had a TP-Link 2800 connected as an extender. Do you know what, I was getting so frustrated with the internet yesterday, even after I upgraded this, and it's like, why is it still going slow? I was like, right, I'm going to get myself a power line, because I'm not going to be digging up through the walls, because this is like a 1930s house. It is built solid. There's like quadruple width brick between this room and the next room.
And then a bit in the middle of the room.
Yeah, and there's like brick supports underneath the basements, that area, whatever it is.
You've got a camera down.
Basically impossible to get through cable-wise. So without taking up the entire floor from the entire, everywhere on the ground floor, it's not going to happen. So unfortunately, yeah, that didn't happen. So anyway, I'm actually going to go and get a beer and use the bathroom because I've drank way too much tea and coffee today. So yeah, I'm going to go and scare the foxes a second. So bear with me one moment, and I will be right back after this break. Kath, entertain with the cats.
Not in my chair.
Nearly grabbed a can of Monster then.
I don't want to make this.
Oh, that's better. Get your bloody in. Okay, there we go. Ugly Bob says, where's Daisy? I don't know. Daisy's Flame's over in the chair. I don't know if Kath's been showing you where Flame is. He's currently doing something. Captain Me's Adventures says Mike's unboxing nappies are a good idea. Yeah, I should have made myself one of those pee-pee chairs. That would have been much better. Commode.
Yeah, that's my chair.
Right. Yeah, where was I? Oh, also this week I've got to definitely do the reviews on the silicon power drives. For those of you that are new here, we do a lot of stuff. Don't buy that one. We do a lot of stuff with silicon power, and they've been really good to help us out with lots of drives and storage, and actually sharing our videos and all that kind of good stuff. They've sent us a selection of drives to do testing, and they wanted us to do basically a brief tutorial to give people an idea of what drives are suitable for various systems. So they've sent us one of the A55, I think it is. It's an A55. I never get used to their naming structure. It does change quite frequently. Yeah, sorry, A55, clear as a day. So they sent us an A55. There is also the A60. And that is the UD70. That is the, that one's pretty toasty. That one's a great drive. So that's a Gen 3x4. And that is the smaller version. So that's a Gen 3x4 again, 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte. And also they've sent us the cream of the crop, the PCI Express Gen 4 x4. This thing is a pocket rocket, it really is. Gives the Sabrents and the Samsungs of the world a massive, what's that, Kath? What?
You haven't washed your hands.
Eh?
You wiped your hands in the jeans, didn't you?
Did you, Ugly Bob, did you wash your hands? I can't believe you're asking that question. Did I wash my hands? No, I used sanitizer. And also a beer sanitizer. Anyway, the last one, yeah, that drive there is an absolute rocket ship. Some crazy, crazy speeds. I'm sure when I tested it, it was like 5 gigabytes per second. Some crazy speed. It was insane. So yeah, definitely at some point in this upcoming week, I'm going to have to sit down and build a system capable of putting these through their paces, which is it's going to be interesting trying to compare them actually in the system. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to do a fresh install on each drive and time it from start to finish, because that's a tangible measurement. Also, regular benchmarks, a SSD, disk mark, those kinds of things, and possibly sort of game loading times. And I'm thinking now with Flight Sim 2020 being out, that actually is going to make a noticeable difference on game loading times with a faster drive. Whether or not it does, I'm not sure whether a lot of that game loading time is down to it buffering from the internet and actually downloading kind of the real-time files. But in the game we can actually turn all that AI type stuff off, or the real-time effects, and then get a better idea of what actually increases performance. And actually what increases performance overall. Does it make any sense to buy a rapid fast drive if you've got a slower system or a slower CPU, GPU, etc.? Also, what sort of things are you doing on your system? Are you transferring lots of big files? Do you need a drive with a cache? All those kinds of questions. And well, we are definitely going to find out, my friends. So let's have a look. No way he's washed his hands. Mark Fox says, Mike, do you use that computer in the background? And if so, do you stand up while doing so? It just looks pretty high up to you sitting down. Yeah, that was the idea. It was essentially, the original idea was because if it was the same level as the desk, you wouldn't see what was on there because I'd be hiding it all.
We did put it all flat.
Also, for standing up and doing tutorials, because of the space in here, there's not a lot of space, so sat down at 2 desks at the same time is quite difficult. So we can actually do stuff on there. Stood up, that is mostly on when I'm doing the how-tos and Windows fixes, that kind of stuff. I generally tend to use that computer and I can stream it using the Elgato straight into my main PC, the video editing PC, so I can just use the HD60 and stream the screen straight into there. Having the camera set up here so I can do an intro here, get up, do the work on that computer, then edit it on that computer, and it's all one kind of seamless, well, not seamless, but it's a simpler workflow, if that makes sense. Yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Ugly Bob wiped on his jeans, I bet. Oh, yes. O'Reilly says, yes, Sky, on PCI Express Gen 4 and NVMe, yes, I think 5 gigabytes per second is real. It is. It is very... Aletta says, I want to compare them to my Sabrent Rocket Gen 4. I'm getting sequential reads of 518 megabits per second. I'm pretty sure it's almost bang on that. I did have some screen grabs, but I haven't got them to hand. I have done some very basic testing on it. Ugly Bob says, I use NVMe as a boot drive and I couldn't tell the difference between that and an SSD. Game loads are a lot quicker though. Ira Wolfman says, I thought Sabrent was the fastest available. Well, Sabrent basically used the same controller chip as a lot of other companies, so it's down to them to tweak the chip to get the performance out of it. So I think it's the Scion controller, or Physion, however you want to pronounce it. So you can use that chip and there is kind of a reference spec for it. They can, if they want to, push it out of spec, which potentially could limit the lifespan of the chip, the DRAM cache, all that kind of stuff. So it's like any car. If you have a race car, if you tune it right to the very edge of what it's capable of, it's obviously not going to last as long if it's used in that kind of manner. And that is part and parcel of it. I'm not too sure what the warranty is on the Sabrent drives actually. Is it a 3-year warranty on the Sabrent drives? If someone can let me know. I'm pretty sure it is a 3-year warranty, which is where I think Silicon Power's drives have a little bit of an edge because they've got a 5-year warranty, and that is pretty much across the range apart from the very budget one. So 5-year warranty, 5-year warranty, 5-year warranty, 5-year warranty, and it's just the older A55 drive has got a 3-year warranty. So the 5-year warranty, they are definitely putting their money where their mouth is, and yeah, if you get a drive failure within 5 years, you can expect to get a replacement, which is pretty awesome. Ugly Bob says I have Red Dead 2 on my NVMe and it's so much quicker when loading. Mark Fox says thanks for the answer. I have 4 computer systems myself and one of them is elevated and was just curious if anyone else did the same. Yeah, I quite enjoy standing up at a computer desk. I wish I had an up desk because I would probably have this up most of the time.
Christopher Hendricks,
Christopher Hendricks, tell me what CPU cooler do you use on your PC? I use a variety. The one behind me has got the Thermaltake Contact 12. My daily driver has got the NH12U from Noctua. Cap's PC I think is using the Wraith Prism.
Nothing but the best for me.
Yeah, nothing but the best. I'm not sure. I don't think I've got my AIO installed anywhere at the moment. No, I don't. It's in the box, which I'm waiting for another build to happen. So yeah, I use a range of them. The Freezer 34 I've got installed on my Intel cooler chipset at the moment, the 6700K, but that is kind of waiting for a home. Yeah, I use various bits and pieces, depending on what's about. I have got a 360mm fractal design, I don't remember, the Celsius 320 rather, and I'm still waiting to find a PC to put that in, because I think that is going to be pretty darn cool. Matthew Day says, is it diminishing returns though? SATA SSD is way quicker than HDD. NVMe Gen 3 is way faster again, but how much difference will Gen 4 make? Generally, Gen 4, if you go to the extremes of Gen 4 and you go to the kind of mid-range of NVMe, you're looking probably double the speed, I would say. So you go from around about 2,000 megabits per second to maybe 4.5, 5,000 megabits per second. You can get some very fast PCI Express Gen 3 X4 drives, which will push kind of 3.5. But nowadays, prices are actually coming down. So the Gen 4 drives, because Gen 4 is now becoming more of a thing, they are coming down to almost Gen 3 prices. So in a lot of instances, depending on the manufacturer, it actually makes sense to go for the more future-proof model. And the PCI Express Gen 4 drives will downclock to Gen 3. So if you've got a Gen 3 board and you want to buy a Gen 4 NVMe, you can put it on there. It will still work, it just won't get to those rated speeds. James Miscellaneous says NAND alone alleviates the bottleneck because of how the information is gathered. SSD, NVMe, SATA, either one makes an old laptop that has spinning disks feel much perkier. It definitely does. Yeah, Dave Byrne says Gen 4 is faster, but not for the average user. Realistically, I think in most cases, unless you're actually benchmarking, the difference is very, very fractional. Or if you're doing excessive data transfers, so say for instance, like me personally, if I had my X570 system with 2 PCI Express Gen 4 drives, and maybe I've got my video editing stuff on like a D drive, Windows is on a C drive, and I maybe want to transfer some files from the C drive to the D drive, then you would see some serious action between the two. And obviously, if you are working for a living and your PC is your work, the quicker you can do things on your PC means you've got more time to do other things. So time is money, as it always is. So if you want to save a little bit of time, you spend a little bit of money, then you can make some more money. That sounds like a vicious circle. It probably is. And again, the differences are probably fractional, but if it's something you're doing daily, all the time, eventually that difference will catch up. And we'll certainly get to the point where At the moment, some SSDs, especially some of the older ones, which don't have the greatest of technology or don't have cache on them or whatever the case may be, just failing drives. As they get older, they are going to get slower. And also there is limited amounts of read-writes that you can do to these drives. They don't last forever. So if you're in a situation where you do need to change a drive anyway, why not get something which is pretty fast if it is at a decent price, which a lot of them tend to be now, especially looking at the silicon power prices. Very, very reasonable. Certainly competitive to the other brands that we've mentioned before. Sabrent Rocket, Samsung drives, the Corsair drives especially. A lot of those, you do pay a little bit of a premium for the brand name. So if you want to save a few bucks but actually still get similar or the same performance, or in some cases even better, maybe worth a look. Good stuff.
Is that only an English thing?
Sorry?
Is that only an English thing?
What?
It's drinking.
I don't know, is that an English thing? Do other people do that around the world? Seeing we've got a relatively global audience, let's ask the question. So when you take a drink?
It's a man thing, isn't it?
Hiccups. Alan Daly says, hey Mike, do you think the new B550 motherboards bottleneck Ryzen CPUs as opposed to the X570 motherboards? No, not at all. If anything, a lot of the B550 boards actually do perform as well, if not better, than their X570 counterparts. MSI is a prime example of that. You look at their boards, segment by segment, the B550 boards in a lot of cases actually do perform better. B550 Tomahawk, easily as good as the X570 Tomahawk. You do miss out some of the features of the PCI Express Gen 4 going through the entire system, but for most people that isn't going to be an issue anyway. The Pro-A, definitely much better on the B550 chipset than the X570. And I think it pretty much does go across the board. A lot of the early X570 chips were a little bit dubious and didn't perform exactly how they would. They've refined the chipset, they've reduced some of the chipset, and the B550 does seem to be the winning choice. I didn't want it to be, and I always went against the grain, and it's like, no, the B550 should be the value segment, but it kind of is, but not in the way that we're traditionally used to with the B450. The B550 is essentially X570 Lite. That's the only way I can really look at it. And my neck is still itching. So hopefully that answers your question, Alan. So Irie Wolfman says, Nvidia said for 3000 series you need a PSU and Gen 4. Now that is going to be super, super interesting, and hopefully, like me, you'll be watching every moment of the Nvidia press conference on the 1st to see what the hell is actually going on. Are we going to need new power supplies? It seems extremely unlikely. Yes, we may need higher wattage power supplies, but that isn't a new thing. We've had that ever since the Radeon R9 series released. They were some power-hungry cars, and history does have a very, very high tendency of repeating itself, as we've seen time and time again. Back then, we went from having 6-pin PCI Express connectors to then needing 8-pin connectors, and we can all remember having those graphics card connectors with the 6 pins and the 2 Molex connectors to try and fudge together another power supply for your 6+6 cards or your 8+6 cards. Hello?
22, mind.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thanks for that. Completely off me stride there. So essentially what I'm trying to say is, yes, there are going to be new graphics cards and potentially they are going to be power hungry, but I don't think we should all start getting scared and thinking, oh God, I need a new power supply for a new graphics card. I would be more concerned about having to sell body parts to be able to afford the damn thing in the first place. If looking at just purely on the size of it alone, if you take a 2080 Ti and stack it against the 3090 or whatever it's going to be called, we don't know yet for sure. We've obviously approximated that as likely what it's going to be, but until it's actually released, we don't know for sure. It's a much bigger card. So as these things generally tend to be, bigger costs more. We've got a bigger cooler, We've got a bigger card itself. It's a triple slot rather than being a twin slot or 2.5 bay slot. So it is going to cost more money. There's no two ways about it. And I would say, realistically, if I had to kind of guess, I would say we're going to be getting near to $2,000 for the very, very top end 3000 series Nvidia cards. I don't think it's that unlikely. £1,600 is not that unheard of. Some of the higher end 2080s at the moment, the TIs, they have been known to go for those sort of prices, so I wouldn't at all be surprised. I can't see if the 2080s are going to lose any value, because I think they're going to still be in that marketplace, and the 1080s is still a very good card and it's going to hold on to that marketplace. So I don't think graphics card prices are going to dip. Some certain cards will, some mid-range cards. We've already seen the likes of the 2060 take a few hits here and there. Obviously, Radeon cards are becoming slightly less relevant in the marketplace now, especially in the higher tier, but again, that may all change very soon. But as far as competition goes, the 57 XT or X57 XT is a good card, but it can't beat the 2080 or the TI for that matter. So it's one of the things, those cards will drop in price because people are going to be jumping off the Radeon bandwagon because they just can't compete and they're becoming less and less relevant. And for those of you that have invested, like myself, I've got an RX 57 570 in there. I've got various AMD graphics cards which are losing me money. Nvidia cards, anyone who sells secondhand PCs will tell you straight off, if you're selling an Nvidia based card in a PC, it will sell quite quickly and it will retain its value. If you're selling a system with an AMD graphics card, there's a strong chance you're going to get knocked down or it won't sell at all. There's a good reason why Nvidia have 80% of the graphics card marketplace, and that is because people like them and they want to use their cards. They generally tend to be lower powered devices, although that may not be the case in the 3000 series, but certainly for the 10,000 series and the 2000 series, that is the way it is. So yes, I don't think we're going to be needing new graphics cards. We will get adapters in the box, which may look janky, but will get the job done. It seems that most modular power supply companies will be producing 12-pin adapters, which will plug straight into the power supply, hopefully, and will replace your 2x8s. So I don't think there's any reason to be absolutely kind of petrified that it's all going to be like, oh God, need a new power supply, need a new computer, etc. I would be more concerned about the actual launch price. It's going to be scary. It generally is. The 3090 is taking a level above the 2080. So it's not a 3080, it's a 3090. So that generational gap plus a higher tier is going to cost money. We know it's going to cost money. But ultimately, is it going to improve things? Is RTX going to be able to get kind of 150 frames per second at 4K? Unlikely. But if it gets close to that, they could have a real contender on their hands for those with very, very deep pockets. But that's not the sort of thing that we're likely to see here on this channel because we do like the cheap seats. And I'd be interested actually, is anyone out there, is there anyone in the audience right now who is seriously considering buying a 3090 on release day? Is there anyone with that deeper pockets? I don't think it's. I don't think there's going to be many. There will be a few, but I think this one is going to be the real kind of, yeah, the divorce maker, where you go out and buy this card, and your wife finds out, or your partner finds out, and it's like, right, you spent how much on a graphics card? Are you insane? Yeah, I want to play Flight Sim at full res 4K. Okay, we're divorcing. Simple as that. That's how it's going to be. I have foretold the future there. Wolfman says the 3070 equals 2080 supposedly. I don't see that. Yeah, that's totally going to be a thing. That is more than likely what will happen and generally does happen. Normally your generational gap, you go up a tier. So the kind of the 960 was basically the 1050, the 970 was the 1060. You kind of get that generational leap, at least price-wise. Dave Byrne says the drivers suck a little less on Nvidia. They do seem to actually at the moment. I'll agree with that. Ugly Bob says that the 570 and the 570 and the 580 GPUs can still hold their own. At the moment, the 580 probably is the sweet spot for GPUs, especially in the used market. If you're picking up a 580, if you can pick one up for like 80 quid, 100 quid, it's still a fantastic card for the money, and you can certainly get the job done and save you a lot of money. Bill Taylor says, I bought an ASRock B550 Phantom Gaming 4 AC. Good choice. Ryzen 5 3600. What next? Get yourself 32 gigs of RAM, because that is dropping in price very, very quickly. Even if you don't need it, just buy it, because it is getting to be ridiculously cheap. Graphics card wise, depends what you're doing. I would say a 2060 is a good shout. Maybe a 1660 Ti. Or wait until Tuesday and see what happens, and see if Nvidia pulls something out of the bag and everyone hits the eject button on their existing cards and they drop like a stone. I can't see it happening. I genuinely can't. I would be amazed if it does happen. Realistically, it is going to be that generational leap, and we are going to pay the privilege, and we are going to get spanked. We're going to get our money taken out of our wallets. It's all going to be over, and they're not even going to buy us a drink or a meal. It's just going to be wham bam, thank you ma'am, take the money, there's your card, have a nice day, see you next year, or whenever. It's not looking good. Let's see. Ugly Bob says, for the cost of a 3090, you could go on a trip to Australia and back. You could. Gary says, hi, just joined in. Good afternoon from Joliet, Illinois. Where Joliet Jake came from. For that classic movie, The Blues Brothers. If you haven't seen The Blues Brothers, first slap yourself, because why not? And then get yourself an Amazon Prime subscription and head over to it and watch it, because it is brilliant. Dagian Killer says, my pockets are empty other than a bit of lint. The giant giant killer. God, I am such a stupid person at times. I just didn't get it at all.
I didn't at first till I was
right over the top of me.
I missed everyone, so I was gone.
Now I've got the Blues Brothers theme tune music going through my head.
Sing it.
I'm not singing it. James Miscellaneous says, MSI, our new RTX 3090 divorce maker Gaming X comes with drivers, anti-sag brace and divorce papers. Yeah. You are absolutely right. It's going to be, if you go to Canada, I would imagine the 3090 is probably going to be, I don't know, what are we saying? $2,500 Canadian? Maybe even more. I'm not too sure how Canadian dollar works. Sky Stalker, if you're still there, maybe you're going to have to educate my ass. Noah Ramos says, hi. You're on in the background while I work. Best wishes. Well, thanks, Noah. Every view helps. Gotta keep on pumping that YouTube algorithm. And speaking of which, please, if you are in the chat at the moment or you're watching the stream, do us a favour, click on the like button. It really does help get the channel out there and to reach a broader audience. Because you don't want to be keeping me all to yourselves, do you? Spread some of that love. Just hit that like button. I see some of you already doing it already. I can't actually see you hitting the like button, you know. I can see that. I can see it going up. Got 39 likes at the moment against 62 concurrent viewers. 43. That's what we like to see. Thank you. You are all a wonderful, wonderful bunch. That is the good thing about this. I do love our community. It is brilliant. And quite often I get home after a day's work, if I've been working in the shop, I get home and it's like, right, first things first. Well, actually, first thing first is take a dump, have a cup of tea. British after all, have a cup of tea. But the next thing is, right, got to look after the viewers. So I go straight over to the computer, fire out to YouTube, straight into the comment section and answer just like an hour's worth of questions, just try and fly through. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Answer question, answer question, answer question. That is it. You guys are loyal to me, so I try and be loyal to you. And if you ask questions, actually quite a lot of people comment now, they say, oh, Mike, can't believe you do this. Like, there's one motherboard video which had 1,000 comments on it.
1.1.
Sorry, 1.1 thousand comments, 1,100 comments. And I've replied to every single one. And they're like, that's so cool that you do that. It's like, well, it's not cool, it's expected. It's like rude. If you go to someone's channel and you've put a comment on their video and they've never replied, that's just rude. Like, sometimes I do miss some. I do apologise if I do, because they do get buried, especially if it's like somewhere where there's like crazy ass conversation and maybe a letter's gone crazy and started talking about water cooling shit. I might have missed it. I do apologise if that is the case. But for most things, if you ask me a direct question, you will get a direct answer. It may not be for a day or two, but generally I'll get to when I can. So thank you all for that. We do appreciate it. Kath don't appreciate it because she has to put up with me when I'm like, God damn it, why are you asking this again? I've just said it in the video.
I do ask.
I do get that a lot. I do get that a lot. But it makes me mad, but also I think, well, actually, I know what it's like. People are busy, they just want to answer to a question. They don't want to watch a 10-minute video just to get one question answered. So I get it. I get it.
I did the wrong emoticon there.
Hugh Wong says, just hit the like. Ugly Bob says, extend those flaps, baby. That is going to be the new Mike's Unboxing t-shirt. Mike's Unboxing, Flight Sim 2020, extend those flaps. Oh dear. Ricardo, Linus Tech or Jay's 2 cents, is that you? No. Aletta says, I'm used to being ignored. James Messenia says he watches small YouTubers content too. Smiley face. Dave Burns says I'll work with D. Aitken on some shirts. Raleigh says extend the flaps, retract the gear. I definitely am liking the old idea of this. Sky Stalker. Oh man, I get some serious flashbacks now. I'm sure this has happened before, or I'm deja vuing the hell out of things. Sky Stalker says lowering the landing gear is much more important. Just saying. Landing gear is important.
On those shopping trolley wheels.
Yeah, shopping trolley wheels on the back. Hugh Wong says it's Mike's Unboxing, the one and only. Thank you, Hugh. Ugly Bob's going to get banned. Carl Pilkinson's unboxing. Bastard. Multi-millionaire Carl Pilkinson. Get it right. Matthew Day says, I prefer to be on the ground or in space. Flying between is just too difficult. It is. There's all kinds of things like gravity and wind, and turbulence. Steve's going. Thanks, Steve. Thanks for dropping by. And actually, we are pretty much getting up to that time ourselves, really. Dave charges. For Hire Hammerman. That's a scary name. For Hire Hammerman, how long do you think my GTX 1080 will hold up? Well, I think it will do for a long, long time. Why would it not? If you get a 4K monitor, or maybe 2 of them, and you're trying to run your games across 2 screens, if you're playing Flight Sim across 3 monitors, then yeah, you're going to start struggling. But realistically, most games, moderate settings, a 1080 still kicks the llama's ass. And that was a, what was that? Oh, Winamp reference, for those of you old enough to remember Winamp.
Oh, I love that.
Winamp, it kicks the llama's ass. Whatever happened to that? That was great.
Music.
Winamp was a MP3 player, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it used to be like there, and then you'd have your song list underneath.
And it had a really cool visualizer.
Yeah.
I loved Winamp. Winamp. Is Winamp still a thing? I need to download
It
it.
was in the corner of your screen, wasn't
Everyone's like, yeah, oh my Winamp, I miss Winamp. Ricardo, Sky Stalker, Winamp. Winamp, it really whips the llama's ass. That was the one. See, Winamp is definitely the coolest MP3 player. And also, it has support for networks as well. And now that I've got a NAS, I can load that bad boy up with MP3 files and I can really get Winamp running on my PC again. That would make me a much, much happy person.
Ricardo's still got it.
Ricardo's still got it. Ricardo, I still have it to play my MP3s. Dave Burns says I used to make Winamp skins. It got bought out by AOL, I believe. Arali says, I think it has adware now, Winamp. That's not so great. James Miscellaneous, I use Winamp. See, that's the thing about this community, is we discuss things which generally doesn't get brought up in most places because it's not popular or whatever. But there's some cool stuff in the PC and the tech community, which probably a lot of us still use or have got fond memories of. And it's just really nice to reminisce about that kind of stuff. And it's nice to be in a real cool community where it's not like real snobbish. Yeah, everyone likes to flex their stuff every now and then, but ultimately we're all here for the same reason, because we love our tech. And for you guys talking about the Winamp and kind of reflecting what I'm thinking and having those fond memories of it, it's just a wonderful thing. It really is. Absolutely awesome. Alan Daly is broken up the party by saying, hey Mike, what do you think is the most efficient CPU air cooler for Ryzen 7 or Ryzen 9 CPUs on a new B550 motherboard? The most efficient CPU air cooler. Well, if it comes to efficient, I suppose it's going to have to be the Noctua, the NH12U. That would be the most efficient because it doesn't have to spin very loud or very fast to get the job done because of how the fan is made. Noctua fans are bloody excellent. And even if you put a Noctua fan on a Arctic freezer cooler, for example, or a Cooler Master 212, GameMax 400, all of those kind of similar 120mm tower coolers, you'll get awesome performance. So efficiency, I suppose, Noctua fans, yeah, all the way. If you're going for efficiency, is that price efficiency as well? Like costing not a lot of money but performing very well? If it is, then there are a lot of 4-pipe coolers on the market right now. GameMax 400, the old one, if you can get it at around like £20, really does kick ass. Arctic Freezer 34, they did a yellow version which every now and then gets dropped to £20. That's a really good option. DH15 Chromax, yeah, that is not particularly efficient on the wallet, but a very good cooler. For Hire Hammond says, I have the 3700X with a Dark Rock Pro 4 and I'm under 60C in games. Sky Stalker says, we are old. We are, but we're cool. There is that to it.
We're boomers.
We're boomers, yeah, boomers. Boomers for the win. I can say for the win now because I've got a baseball cap on, so that makes me semi-American.
For
See?
the wife, that's done.
For the wife. Aletta says, I miss MS-DOS. Right, somebody ban Aletta. I know what you mean, actually. Some of the old DOS games I do miss. But I think if I played them again now, I would hate them. Because I think we're far too used to that granular control in games and stuff. And crash detection physics. For Hire Hammerman says, Noctua is the best, but Dark Rock is a tad quieter. Okay. Ugly Bob says, I still use my Cooler Master Hyper 212 Black and it's still holding in there. All of the 120mm tower coolers are still an excellent choice for any processor. Even the really high-end ones that really should be having a 240mm AIO. If you've got a case with decent airflow, then you're onto a winner with any of the tower coolers because they get better with the case. So if you've got loads of airflow in a case, 120mm cooler is going to absolutely stomp it. Dave Burns Gen X. Okay, we'll include the Gen X as well as the boomers. Hugh Wong says, how do we get the blue moderator status, Mike? Hugh, that is relatively easy. You just got to be someone who is regularly in the chat and communicating and basically not being a douchebag. And you seem to be doing that, so you're certainly on your way to getting there. Actually, that is the thing about the Blue Spanner Brigade. I don't really want to go down the whole kind of Kerry Holzman route of anyone who basically gives me money gets a blue badge or a blue spanner, because I think that's a bit stupid. But there are a lot of you that do make regular appearances, so maybe that's something we should do. I don't know. I'll put it out to the community and I'll put it on our Discord and see what the general consensus is. And maybe we'll start handing out a few more blue spanners. Tape when the battery started to die. Yeah, that was good. Apparently it was Windows 95 birthday this week. We were considering doing a Windows 95 anniversary episode of the stream. Kath suggested it, and I had such a headache earlier, I generally couldn't be arsed to go and research it too much, so I thought, well, Windows 95 actually sucked Major Horse's ass, so do I really want to recall all that horribleness? Windows 98 SE was when it started getting good. Windows 95 was pretty horrendous, wasn't it, really? There was probably... No, there wasn't any redeeming features, it sucked. It wasn't until we got USB support in Windows 98 2nd edition that it's like, yes, this is an operating system I can live with. It works with modern components. I can plug in a USB scanner and it doesn't shit itself in blue screen. I'm happy with this. This works. Windows 95, okay, it was okay. And you could play solitaire when your boss wasn't watching or working, I suppose, either. It was pretty cool. In the workspace, Windows 95 was awesome because it made things like Lotus 123, Excel, all those kinds of things made them just so much easier to use rather than using Windows for workgroups or plain old DOS. So yes, it did make life a lot easier for a lot of people. But if you were just a gamer and that is all you wanted to do, Windows 95 was not great. Not great at all. But yeah, as Gary says, Windows 95 was a quantum leap from Windows 3.1. It generally was. I think 98 SE was my favourite operating system. O'Reilly says, I would rather see a Windows 98/XP birthday anniversary stream. Yeah, I think that makes more sense. And actually do a Windows 98 retro build. That would be great. Hugh Wong says, I like the mostly wholesome channel. Mostly wholesome? I'll take that. Lots of great tech talk as well. Hugh, if you like that sort of thing, you should get on our Discord, because our Discord is insane. It really is. It goes from levels of complete stupidity and outright daftness to like absolutely amazing razor sharp wit and PC repairs. It's such a broad spectrum of various stuff going on. It is, yeah, it does blow my mind actually. It goes from kind of like real idiot grade problems to kind of like, yeah, this is like, wow, this is an immense problem. We need to fix this. And then we find an answer and it's like, yes, we've resolved it. Kath's got her finger up in the air for some reason.
My new name.
Your new name?
No, my new name. Mike, not trolling.
My new name, Mike, not trolling, but I reckons, right? I like this already. Good dialect. You could be from like the same parts of the country as my cousin Vicky Pollard. Oh my god, but yeah, but no, but yeah, but no, but. Ain't never done no nothing or nothing. Nah. Yes, very similar region of the country. That giant killer says, I'm not sure what was more fun, playing a game back in DOS or freeing up enough memory to play it. Some of my favourite memories of Windows 95 are organising my disks in my double bay disc box with my Windows 95 discs from 1 to 31 or 32, I think it was, and then actually installing it on someone's computer and thinking, do I leave Network Neighborhood in there? Because that means I don't need those discs. Or if I take out, what was the briefcase? There's a briefcase app as well, wasn't there, where you can synchronize files. So we'll take that away as well, so we don't have to worry about that. It was good.
Didn't that double-sided disk drive box from the Atari ST?
I think we did.
And it didn't have a key.
Ricardo says, I had Windows ME in my first PC. The best thing that happened to me was switching to Windows 2000 Pro. I hated it. I hated going from the x86 codebase to the NT codebase. I really did hate it. I was so used to having all my files neatly organized and having like just one folder for my user profile, one folder for my pictures, my documents, etc. And then all of a sudden you get this NT codebase, and now suddenly you've got an admin account, a guest account, user accounts. If you've got more than one user, you've got a couple of those, and then you try and find your files and it's like, whoa, hang on, there's loads of stuff in here. Why can't I just have my user profile folder? It was so much simpler. Ugly Bob says Windows 8 can hold its head under the water until bubbles stop. Damn. Glad you are entertained, my new name. Sky Stalker says Mike's Discord, it's a trip. Join up, you will have a good time. You will mostly have a good time unless one of our users, named Minnie, asks stupid questions, at which point you want to actually punch yourself in the face or throw yourself into a wall. But it's all good fun.
Don't hold back.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Just go for it if you want.
Yeah, I'll just let it go. James Miscellaneous says one of the biggest pranks Microsoft have ever pulled was Windows XP 64-bit. It came with everyone's favorite game, Find That Driver. Yes, it was Windows 95 when paint would actually cause a blue screen of death, not one that you painted on. The Giant Killer says, I'm from Newfoundland. We're basically from the same clan. Where's Newfoundland, Gav?
Is it like in town, Newfoundland Street area?
No. Don't think so.
Is that in Bristol?
I don't know. Newfoundland. I don't know where that is.
There is
I'll Google it.
Newfoundland in Bristol. Yeah, but no but.
Yeah, but no but. Hugh Wong says, Mike, how long have you been into tech? For far too long. Probably since about 8 or 9 years old, I guess.
I said 96, but that's Windows.
Probably about 91, 92, maybe more. Early 80s, 1980s that is. Not the 1780s.
I said 8,
Bastards.
but that's Windows, I suppose.
Sky Stalker says, lol, can't believe you went there. Yeah, what the hell. My new name says, my first operating system was C64, dialing bulletin boards, like that dude from War Games, lol. I do remember that. O'Reilly says, Canada, Newfoundland. Ah, right, okay. Awesome. Right, I think we're pretty much run out of steam there, so I think it's about time to call it a day. Now, if you do want to continue the fun and hijinks that you may have had elsewhere, not tonight, but if you have enjoyed yourself and you want to hang out with us a little bit further, and also you want to maybe meet a new content creator, or newer, or new to you possibly, Akia Shadow will be continuing his streaming expertise later on this evening. So no doubt he will be putting a link in the chat anytime now. So if you want to follow along with that and get involved, play some games online with us, you're more than welcome to do so. Also, obviously, if you want to join our Discord and have a chat in there, it's mostly text-based chat. We very rarely go on mic, so if you're a bit kind of dubious, and you don't want to have a microphone attached to you, or you don't want to speak in a community, then you can come on over to our Discord and just type away and have some fun and maybe learn a few things, or maybe realise there's people in this world that actually shouldn't be on a computer. We get that a lot. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining us on tonight's stream. Hopefully you've enjoyed yourself. If you have, don't forget, smash the like button before you leave. And we will see you in the videos in the week. And also we'll see you next Saturday. Thanks for the super chats. And thanks for everyone for participating. And we will see you all very, very soon. And yes, where am I looking for? I'm looking for the thing now. I've moved it all around. I don't know what I'm doing. I should really get someone to do this for me because I am stupid. End stream, that's the one I was looking for. Thanks a lot, everyone. See you next time. Ah, dear Lord. What am I doing?